James, James, is this why God gave you first class? To turn your house into Sodom and Gomorrah? James laughed. Mama, relax. These are just my friends. Mama Grace shook her head. May God not allow money to use you instead of you using it. But James didn't listen. Welcome back to the part 2 of this video. Kindly watch the part 1, if you missed it. Ah, fresh money. You smell different. Tunde clapped him on the back. Congratulations, boss. From now on, you're no longer James the graduate. You are James the baller. And truly, James transformed overnight. Gone was the restless, frustrated graduate. In his place stood a man hungry for more. Every morning he rushed to the laptop like a farmer rushing to his farm. Only this farm produced dollars instead of yams. His confidence soared. He started saying things like, God helps those who help themselves. After all, Niger government no dey help us. He justified every lie he typed, telling himself it was just a game of intelligence. When the second and third scams worked, James began spending carelessly. He bought new clothes, flashy sneakers, and perfume so strong that people could smell him before they saw him. He strutted through the village like a peacock, ignoring those who once advised him to be patient. One day, Kunle, his old friend, confronted him. James, where are you suddenly getting money from? Don't tell me you've joined this Yahoo thingo. James grinned, leaning back in his chair. My brother, money na money. Whether it comes from computer or from farm, does it not spend the same way? Kunle shook his head. But it's risky. One day, James raised his hand, cutting him off. Abeg, leave that story. Life itself is risk. Even drinking pure water is risk. You can choke. At least my own risk comes with bends. He laughed at his own joke, but Kunle wasn't laughing. The turning point of James's life had arrived, and he had chosen his path. With every scam, he buried his conscience deeper. With every dollar, he silenced his fears. He stopped applying for jobs entirely, bragging, Me work? For who? I am the job itself. At night, he dreamed of mansions, private jets, and beautiful women. In the mirror, he didn't see the lazy boy from the mud house anymore. He saw a king in the making. But what James didn't realize was that kings who build thrones on lies always sit on chairs of fire. The transformation was swift. One month, James was sleeping on a raffia mat in his mother's mud house, grumbling about poverty. The next month, he was walking into boutiques in the city, buying clothes without even checking the price tag. Boss, this shoe is 55,000 naira, the shop attendant whispered cautiously. James waved his hand like a king shooing away a servant. Put it inside the bag, my dear. Money no water. If I don't spend it, how will it flow? The attendant's eyes widened. She whispered to her colleague, This one must be politician's son. But James wasn't anybody's son, except Mama Grace's, the Akara woman still sweating by the roadside. Soon he moved out of the village completely. He rented a 2-bedroom apartment in the city, but that didn't last. Within months, he upgraded to a luxurious mansion, complete with marble floors, a swimming pool, and a chandelier that could blind you if you stared too long. Mama Grace came to visit once and almost collapsed at the gate. Jesus! Is this a house or hotel? She gasped, holding her wrapper tight. James, hope you didn't join cult? Because Akara money cannot build this one. Oh. James laughed, hugging her. Mama, don't worry. God has blessed me. You are now Mama Mansion. Mama Grace looked around suspiciously, but said nothing. Mothers know when something smells fishy, but poverty makes them close their noses. With his new wealth, James also bought his first Benz. The day he drove it into town, children ran after the car screaming, Uncle James, carry us, oh! Young men hailed him like a celebrity, shouting, Boss, Baba Benz, our chairman! James would wind down the glass slowly, put on his dark shades, and reply coolly, Una day all right. Make Una day manage small. Money no water, it must flow, reach everybody. He became a regular at clubs. Every Friday, James and his crew would storm the biggest club in town. DJs shouted his name over the speakers, girls danced around him, and bottles of champagne popped like fireworks. He had only one rule: never count the bill. When the waiter brought it, James would simply wave. Remove am from the river, water full everywhere. His table was always crowded with women, slim ones, thick ones, tall, short. James collected them like souvenirs. His friends joked that if women were degrees, James would have a PhD. But he didn't care. To him, women were just part of the lifestyle. What's money without enjoyment, he'd say, pouring champagne into a woman's mouth while another rubbed his shoulder. At home, however, things were different. His mother visited again one day and saw half-naked girls lounging by the pool. Her eyes nearly fell out. James, James, is this why God gave you first class? To turn your house into Sodom and Gomorrah? James laughed. Mama, relax. These are just my friends. Mama Grace shook her head. May God not allow money to use you instead of you using it. But James didn't listen. His new philosophy in life was simple. Enjoy today, forget tomorrow. He stopped thinking about jobs, businesses, or investments. When someone suggested he put money into real estate, James sneered. I beg, leave that one. Why should I tie my money down inside block and cement when I can spend it on enjoyment? If the money finishes, another one will come. No water. That reckless attitude made him even more popular among his peers. They called him Chairman of Enjoyment. To James, life was one big party, but not everyone was impressed. His old friend Kunle visited him one day. James, this your lifestyle no get future, Kunle said as he sat in the luxurious living room. You are making money, yes, but you're wasting it. At least invest in something. Buy land. Open business. James laughed so hard that he spilled his drink. Kunle, you worry too much. My dear, money no de finish. If I need more, I just open laptop, type small story, and boom, alert, simple. Kunle sighed. You are playing with fire. James raised his glass. Then let the fire keep burning. At least it will keep me warm. Everyone laughed. But Destiny was also laughing silently, waiting for the right moment. For now, James was untouchable. He had the house, the cars, the women, the fame. He strutted around town like a king without a kingdom, confident that nothing could ever shake his throne. What he didn't know was that the same river he called money was already preparing to drown him. By now, James was living the kind of life that only existed in music videos. His Instagram page was full of pictures with captions like, soft life or nothing, no stress, no sweat, and his favorite, money no water. Everywhere he went, people recognized him. The club bouncers no longer asked for his ID. They opened the gate before he even honked. DJs paused music mid-track just to announce his arrival. Ladies and gentlemen, our chairman of enjoyment has entered the building. And then the crowd would scream as if Michael Jackson had risen from the grave. James loved the attention. He would swagger in with his dark shades, surrounded by his boys, while women practically lined up like they were at a job interview. Once a waitress asked timidly, "Sir, should I bring you the menu?" James smirked and replied, "No need, darling. Just bring everything on it. Let's not waste time." That night, he ordered so much food and drink that half the plates went untouched. When his friends tried to complain, James waved them off. A beg, no talk like poor man. The food, no finish for market. His philosophy had become dangerous, but it made him the toast of every gathering. People envied him, worshipped him, and even feared him. During the day, James flaunted his wealth on the streets. If traffic stopped him, he would casually step out of his Benz, hand money to street hawkers, and then shout dramatically, "Money must flow. If it doesn't flow, it will smell." The hawkers would cheer, while passers-by whispered, Ah, this man no be ordinary. No money spirit they follow him. But in private, the cracks were showing. His spending was wild. Cars, clothes, women, endless parties. He invested in nothing. Even his mother began to notice. One afternoon, Mama Grace visited him in the mansion. She watched as girls giggled by the poolside, bottles of champagne floated in the water, and his friends played loud music. She pulled James aside, her face stern. "My son, this your lifestyle no get sense. You have money, yes, but you are spending it like goat, we see yam." James laughed. "Mama, don't worry. Yam plenty. Let the goat chop." She shook her head. "James, remember, money is like fire. If you don't control it, it will burn you." But James only hugged her and whispered, "Mama, you worry too much. I've got this." The more warnings he received, the more reckless he became. It was as if he wanted to prove the whole world wrong. One night at a popular club in Lagos, James decided to make history. He stood on the VIP table, held a bundle of Naira notes and shouted, "Ladies and gentlemen, let it rain." Then he began spraying money into the air until the floor was covered like confetti. People scrambled, crawling on the ground to pick notes. Even some of the waiters abandoned their trays. The DJ screamed, "Chairman James, the money machine." James loved it. He spread his arms and shouted, "Who says money doesn't grow on trees? My own tree is inside laptop." The video went viral the next morning. Social media buzzed. Some hailed him as king of soft life. Others criticized him for being reckless. But James didn't care. Fame was fuel, and he was burning it with joy. He even upgraded his proverb. Instead of just saying, "Money no water," he added, "And I am the ocean." But behind the laughter, James was blind to the storm gathering. His greed was growing faster than his common sense. No amount of money was ever enough. He wanted more cars, bigger parties, more attention. One day, while lounging by his pool with 3 women fanning him and feeding him grapes like a Roman emperor, Tunde approached him with a serious face. "James, you've been hitting small clients for too long. If you want real money, you need to target the big fish. Men with millions, not thousands." James licked a grape and grinned. "Big fish? Bring them. I'm the shark." Tunde hesitated. "But shark they chop anything, even hook. You sure you're ready?" James waved dismissively. "A beg. Forget hook. My brain too sharp. Just show me the fish." That was the moment he crossed the line. From then, James wasn't satisfied with scamming lonely widows or naive online lovers. He wanted bigger prey. The thrill of the chase excited him. The bigger the risk, the sweeter the taste. He didn't know it, but he had just placed his head on the chopping block. James was flying too high, and like every man who thinks wings can never break, he didn't see the ground rushing up to meet him. The shift came one hot Tuesday afternoon. James and Tunde were lounging in the mansion, sipping Hennessy like it was Fanta, when Tunde dropped the bait. "Bro, there's this foreign investor," Tunde said, lowering his voice like he was revealing nuclear secrets. "Big money man from Dubai, the kind of man that won't even notice if $2 million goes missing." James sat up, eyes shining. "Two what?" $2 million. James burst out laughing. "Chai, see as God day answer prayer? Forget church tithe, this one a full congregation offering?" But Tunde didn't laugh. "This one is serious, James. It's not small yahoo again. We're talking heavy business. Fake oil contracts, shell companies, international transfer." James grinned and slapped his friend's back. "My guy, bring the papers. You dey talk like say I no get PhD for scam." It was decided. James was going after the biggest fish of his life. The setup took weeks. They forged documents, created fake companies, and even set up a bogus office. James poured money into it like water, renting a floor in Victoria Island, hiring people just to answer phone calls, and paying actors to pose as directors. Every time Tunde asked if it was too risky, James scoffed. "Risk? No poor man they fear risk. Me? I'd fear poverty. At night he would sit by his pool, drink in hand, and dream about what he'd do with the money. I go by private jet, he told one of his girlfriends, Ada. She rolled her eyes. Private jet for Lagos traffic? Yes, nah. Imagine me flying from Lekki to Ikeja in 10 minutes. While you people they sweat for third mainland, I go they wave from sky. They laughed, clinking glasses, as if life was one long holiday. Stay tuned for part 3. I bet you will love the ending. Please don't forget to give this video a like, share it with someone, comment and subscribe.